Okay, thanks Nidhi for confirming. So I think we should start. It's 5:35 exactly. So once again, I welcome you, Professor G.D. Sharma from NIPA, and Namaste sir today. And I will once again introduce you today. Professor G.D. Sharma, he has been a senior fellow and head, Higher Education Unit, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, which is shortly called NIPA, that is acronym. And he has joined as the new director for the Consortium for Educational Communication, which is CEC, New Delhi, for a period of 5 years. He has been a distinguished economist, and he has also served as the secretary of the University Grants Commission. Earlier, he has served as director IIE Pune and as a consultant of UNESCO, UNDP, and IIEP Paris. He has also worked in various capacities in the Department of Economics in University of Mumbai and Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi. He has published extensively on various aspects of higher education. He has been member, convener of several committees of UGC and Government of India. And as you can see, sir has already presented the previous day, and we have already witnessed his extensive knowledge on the topic which he covered that day. And today, Professor G.D. Sharma is going to speak on the topic UNESCO Guide for Use of ChatGPT 3.5 in Higher Education. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ruchita. I would like participants to raise questions. Before that, I'd like to mention that Moge talked about how modeling is being done, how modeling to be done. That's a very practical aspect of it. He's working on AI in that sense. It's not really that kind of AI, but a kind of modeling of certain things which we used to do with a lot of regression analysis, etc. No machine would be able to do that. And how it works, that's Moge was talking. How machine works, Kapil has talked about it, and he has given large examples of this. Now, we are talking is of a large language modeling, which is a major revolution in the field of technology. Before that, I speak about this large language modeling, which is called the OpenAI large language modeling. I would like to ask the participant, how many of you have been able to use ChatGPT?
Participants, please respond to sir's question. He is asking you how many of you have used ChatGPT?
Yes, quite a few now, good number of people. How many of you have been reading about the news which comes on ChatGPT, particularly the interview being given by the founder of OpenAI and ChatGPT, and concern expressed by the world leaders, about 100 technology world leaders have expressed the concern. How many of you have been access to that kind of information? No, concerns expressed by I read about the concerns expressed by the almost 100 technology experts in the world about the ChatGPT and ChatGPT 4, 5, and Samtel was telling that we have planned to go up to ChatGPT 10, and people are saying, you stop it here now, you should not go beyond. So how many of you have been access to that information? No? Not many? I would suggest yes, one, you have, no. Okay, no problem. Only I would suggest that you should look into some of the newspaper and interviews given by the CEO of ChatGPT, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and fear expressed by many of the technology experts how things are going to completely revolutionize. So far, you were discussing and doing the work with the computer and data and machine. And there was no modeling was done about large language modeling, which is called ChatGPT. How many of you anyone have used the what you call roam around? No one? I would suggest these are simple things which you should be using, and I'll talk about yes, no. Oh, yes, sir.
No, sir, but Sharma
Satya,
sir,
Satya, Satya, tell us. Satya, tell us how you use the Roma round. Satya said that yes, she has used.
Sir, in yesterday's session, R.C. Sharma sir gave a demonstration about
the
yes,
AR, isn't it? Did you use on your own?
No, sir.
No. Go back and put on a computer a roam around and ask the computer that I want to go to Simla, or you want to go to Kashmir, or you want to go to UK, and for 3 days from this date to that date, you tell me what I do. And ChatGPT will churn out a one-page note on this place is this, like this, you can visit this place on this date, you can go to this place, you can go to the one-page printout will be given, and will say you can print it out. So this is where the large language modeling works. How this large language modeling works, that there are thousands and thousands of people who have worked on the travel agent, let me put it. They have been asked the question that which is the place, how I visit, etc. These data are already on the computer. These data are already this thing. And this large language modeling, this is a revolution. That's why I've said that, and the fear also people are actually. This large language modeling is a kind of a concept which collects all the information, processes, and churn out with a minute in a fraction of minute, or maybe 10 seconds or 5 seconds. I asked one question on that roam around, that I am going to Jodhpur for 3 days. Kindly let me know. I wanted to test it. Let me know what is my itinerary. It worked out exactly, identifying the places, locations, etc., and also taken the date and timing and all these things. And I say, it means you have taken away the job of the persons who are sitting on the table of the travel agent. So this is the large language modeling revolution which is taking place in the world. What is this large language modeling revolution? Earlier we were doing the data analysis, we were doing which were difficult for computer and high-end computers and etc. Then we did the bird, the processing, image processing, and all these things were done. But nobody could write a sentence, no machine could write a sentence. That was a limitation. And that limitation is being overcome by this large language modeling. OpenAI large language modeling, this is what it's called. And ChatGPT is the 3rd version, created a lot of news in the world. Why this ChatGPT 3.5 created a lot of news in the world? Because many people, particularly universities in USA, the government in Italy, they banned the ChatGPT to be used by the students and faculty and etc. because they fear that this thing would be. And in USA, the universities started saying that we will not accept any assignment given by the student based on the ChatGPT preparation. So this has been a reaction, response to this new revolution of large language modeling, which collects the information, and you write about your university, immediately whatever data is available for of your university, that is processed, and one sentence or one page printout of a page write-up would be made available to you. So earlier this was not possible. Earlier only you could see the information which is given in your web page, which is given somewhere in your some kind of write-up. Processing of 10 or 15 or 20, 100, 1,000 things of data, and then making out a statement in 1 or 2 pages or something there. And now people ask that I would like to prepare a paper on climate response. And the student asks the climate response situation, a write-up, I need a write-up on this. And he puts it a climate response situation in particular there. And ChatGPT will churn out a lot of information and make this there. That has created a lot of kind of a reaction, positive as well as negative reaction. When the positive and negative reaction, there was an important point with the UNESCO. The UNESCO that since this technology has already come, that's being used by many people, that's likely to be used by many people. There are very positive aspects of it, there are also negative aspects of it. And we should try to look into the positive and negative aspects of this. And therefore, the UNESCO came out with a kind of a guideline with regard to positive and negative aspect of it. Therefore, I asked you the question that what kind of access you had, Manor? What kind of access you had on this aspect? I'm trying to present this slide, Manor. Are you able to see this?
No, sir, not yet.
You are able to see this? No?
No, sir, not yet.
I have tried to put this this PowerPoint presentation for you. This slide is visible to you?
No, sir, not
No?
yet.
No?
No, sir. Share screen.
ओके आप करिए देखें. ओके तो you mean you are suggesting me that first I click on your PPT, my PPT? No, I think I would suggest you that if you could make it possible. Otherwise, I'll talk only. Is it possible, Sharmaji?
Yes, sir. Sir, if you can send it to me, I can do it. If you can send it to me, I can do it from my end.
Okay. I'll try. Beg pardon? Huh? The Monty was there just now. Monty, Manarajan.
Participants, kindly wait.
Yeah? Yeah? Sir? Okay. Yeah, okay. This is to be shown along with this thing, along with the presentation. Yeah? Share, huh? Yeah. Huh?
Yes, sir. Now we can see.
Your presentation on your screen. Huh? Yes. Huh? Yeah?
Yes, sir. You can see.
Yeah?
Present only.
No, there. Where is where? No. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I may not be visible, but I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. No, what I was trying to suggest is that this problem came up, and then UNESCO wanted that this OpenAI software of large language modeling is very important. It has come in the field, and everybody is using it. And there is also positive and negative aspect of it. therefore some kind of discussion should take place, and particularly on ChatGPT 3.5, they started working on it, and they said how it can be considered. So what we'll try to look into that this ChatGPT is able to do certain things, certain functions which are useful for higher education, and that is where I thought I'll try to share with you some of the aspects. One is the aspect which the UNESCO considered was the teaching learning process, and the teaching learning process ability to generate and access the information. ChatGPT can play a range of roles, teaching and learning process together with other forms of AI. Now, other forms of AI are also there. So ChatGPT large language modeling does this work with the other forms of AI, which was discussed by ProfSharma and Maudia and Mogi and other people. And this could improve the process and experience of learning by students. That's why they say that it has that positive aspect, and we could try to look into the positive aspect of this software. Another aspect is it can be used for standalone tool, and it can be integrated with the other systems and platforms used by higher education, and particularly can perform many simple and technical tasks like basic research, calculation, proofing. Earlier it was now one of the small, it's not very big software, but there is software what called proofing can be done with the software. You put your paper which you prepared and upload it, and then you run through the proofing, and basic grammatical errors, etc., can be also taken care of. That was the basic things which it could work. And long back it has been working commonly, which Dr. R. Sharma used to tell long back, about 5 or 10 years back. Now, ChatGPT could be incorporated and used in augmenting teaching and learning, which you must have seen yesterday when they demonstrated about the augmented reality and virtual reality, etc., which can help in terms of augmenting the teaching and learning. And therefore, UNESCO thought that this is the area where the ChatGPT can be used for this purpose. Another aspect is the research can be considered. And research, in fact, the research has been one of the major aspects of it. And you might have just heard that lot of data information has to be processed, and this processing used to take a long time, and it can be now done in a fraction. Just I gave you an example of a roam around, or example of several others. So there are about 25 companies which are called EdTech companies, which are working on various aspects of it. But that is an area. But research can be also done through the ChatGPT software, and it has been tried out for the process of relating the research, such as completing the technical part of the research grant and applications, etc., and communication plans, etc. How are you going to communicate your research study and other things? It can also generate the entire academic journal article. This has been done by many people, and therefore the questions have been raised that can the ChatGPT generated article could be accepted as a article written by, or ChatGPT article can be accepted. This has opened the ethical debate on the subject whether a non-human author can be considered as a contributor. This debate is going on in the world, and here also in India, that can the article generated by the ChatGPT on any, as I asked you, just like on environment and etc., with collecting data from several sources which are internationally and nationally available, and then you are preparing an article on climate change and climate preservation, and that article is sent for publication in the journal, whether that article could be accepted or not, or who holds the responsibility for that article. No consensus has been arrived at yet. The people are doing it, but consensus has not been arrived on this aspect. Then some publishers have argued that it cannot be responsibility of role descriptions, etc. So this is a challenge is there whether it should be accepted or not. But the software capability of doing is a major aspect. Whether earlier software was not able to do this kind of thing, They were not able to generate the paper. They were not able to do anything. But this software is capable of doing it. And though there is a debate, there is discussion, and there is also the ethical questions about it. So that is where the challenges come. Next is the alternative ways of expressing the ideas. Ideas, students would write queries. Suppose you have certain queries and you can ask the ChatGPT that this, can you express it in differently? Just like you found that some of the expression was done by Kapil on certain aspects. A similar student might ask that these are the views I have and can I express it differently? Query GPT, use the regenerative response function to examine the alternative response. Whether the alternative response given by me is correct or not, the student can see it and the student can respond to improve upon its presentation part. Then there are certain software, about 10 or 15, the software which must have been discussed by Dr. R.C. Sharma, but some of the softwares are directly being used for the purpose of augmented develop and augment the students and enter prompt into the ChatGPT following the structures and conversation and debate that can take place, which is called Socratic component. And teachers can ask students to use ChatGPT to prepare a discussion. That for the purpose, it's a very positive aspect of you prepare a discussion and then let's come for a discussion purpose. So this discussion is prepared on the basis of data already available in the various forms, whether you say in the computers or machine. They collect it from this, prepare a discussion, they put it a positive point, they put a negative point, and discussion paper is prepared, and then discussion starts on this kind of thing. So that's where you find this software, which is ChatGPT, OpenAI, large language modeling, is bringing about the change, which was not possible earlier. It was doing little bit of it, but now it is collaborative coach. It can be a collaboration, can be done between the problems to solve the problems together, working in a group. Now the group work was being given to the people that student can work in group and they try to solve the problem. Student can use ChatGPT to find out information to complete the tasks and assignments. As I said, assignments, etc. They can do. But then one has to really assess it and find out whether it's true or not, whether it's correct or not. That question I'll come little later. AI acts as a guide to navigate the physical and conceptual spaces, the guide to side of that kind. Teachers use ChatGPT to generate content in classes, courses, and discussion questions and advice on how to support students in learning specific concepts. So that's a kind of a positive aspect of using the ChatGPT in this way, and that could be considered. There's also personal tutor. There are several softwares. Dr. R.C. Sharma might have shared with you. There are several software which enables, and many of the tech companies have come up in this area and try to share with you how it can be used. This personal tutor kind of a software which UNESCO has looked into and suggested that could be used as tutor each student and gives the immediate feedback on the progress. ChatGPT provides personalized feedback to the student based on information provided by the students and teachers. Let me share with you, this kind of work was being done not in this form, but ChatGPT is being done. One of our friends in MIT, Dr. Sonwalkar, about 10 or 15 years back when I was in CEC, he had developed a software wherein the data or information would flow on the computer as the students learn. Styles of student learning that worked as a personal tutor. As a step, he worked out the 5 types of styles in which students work, and when the particular person will go to computer and ask questions, then it will assess that what kind of style students have, and data and information will flow in the same manner. That was not in a personal tutor kind, but the information was flowing as per the need of the students and as per the styles of learning of the student. So this personalized tutor is much more advanced, and AI, particularly with regard to large language modeling, this has been completely changed. Which earlier process was data flowing, but it is in a kind of a written form. You get a particular text material which can be discussed, which can be read, and which can be explained. Then there's a co-designer. You can work as a designing a certain thing. Teacher can ask ChatGPT to ideas about designing and updating the curriculum, which is because one would say that a teacher was already updating the curriculum, but here you get the data of several subject, a particular subject or several subjects, and where you have the base of how curriculum has been developed in MIT, how a curriculum on a particular theme or subject has been developed in many other countries, and then work out in physics, chemistry, biology, any other subject, or interdisciplinary oriented approach. And so curriculum development, it helps, and assessment rubric that can also be done. Focus on specific goals like how to make the curriculum more accessible to the people. That's also the issue. So you find that we 10 or 15 people used to in a group of people, they used to develop the curriculum. Other person used to look, moderator used to look into, and then discussion used to take place, and etc. That process was there. Now that process is at a level is brought, and then one can try to develop it much more better in manner and machine. That's this particular software helps you in doing it. Then exploratory, what we call that you can explore. We last time we had a meeting on exploring the AI, and the exploring part is a very important aspect of it. Interpret data, teachers provide basic information to students who write different queries on ChatGPT to find the more answers. So that kind of exploration can also be done. But it is facilitating the job of teachers. Let me tell you, it is facilitating, helping the teachers to do a little advanced level of work in every area, whether designing the curriculum or designing, helping the student to do the personal tutoring or other things. That is a kind of good assistance in terms of it, which a teacher normally used to do by talking, by writing, by explaining. That kind of work is being done. Now, advanced level of work is expected to be done by the teachers in this area. Then you would find there are other areas where the study body, some software have come, and some companies have also come up with the software which are the students can reflect on learning material. Students explain their current level of understanding. A ChatGPT can ask ways to help them study the material. So that is what I talked about phonological thing. But this is much advanced level. This that it can ask the help the student to study material in a much more effective manner. This is called the software or study buddy, which UNESCO has really helped worked out and say it can be used. Could be used for help the student to prepare other tasks like job interviews, etc. You say that I'm going for interview in a particular profession, and kindly give me tips about it. Give me the ChatGPT will turn out the several tips in both in terms of the text as well as if there are videos are available, it will suggest the videos, and that could be helpful to the student. Now, many of the companies have already started, and some of the edtech companies have already taken up job to prepare the student for various job preparation or shifting the job from one level to another. And these edtech companies are working on this, and they are providing this help to the student. And there are large number of students are enrolled for this kind of activity. Then the motivator, which UNESCO has really accepted it, that it can work as a motivator for challenges of extended learning. Teachers and students can ask ChatGPT ideas about how to extend the students' learning after providing summary of the current level of knowledge. Now, quizzes and exercises which we have been developing to ask the student, this can be, AI can help you motivate as a motivator for this kind of activity. Now, coming to the issue of dynamic assessor, it can also this 3.5 the AI provides the educator with the profile of each student's current knowledge. You know, we had just a kind of glimpse of student when we were talking. This might be having this dynamic assessor can assess every student. It could be individual student based, and that can provide the student's current knowledge level, and then you start after that level, and then you start discussing on this. This is where the dynamic assessment works. Students interact with GPT on tutorial type, as I said, dialogue, and then ask GPT to provide summary of their current state of knowledge. If some students talk about the debate and discuss, and then ask the GPT their current student knowledge, they share with other teachers and assessment that's possible. So this is a revolution in terms of uh, uh, doing things which we teachers used to do, and then teachers used to explain to them. Now here it is possible, and then teachers' role becomes much advanced in terms of when they place it. This is exactly reducing the drudgery job of doing the same thing several times, and then you do it at an advanced level of thing. So that is kind of student interact can take place, and that would be there. The challenge is what AI faces. He is also asked that Kapil Maudia has asked about challenges, etc. UNESCO also considered the challenges which are very important and ethical implications of this. The impact of ChatGPT on higher education has been immediate and divisive. You know, I particularly use the word divisive. Although its applications on higher education are extensive, and many universities have banned it. As in the beginning, I said that some of the universities banned it over a fear of student and plagiarism. Several countries have blocked it. ChatGPT, in fact, as I said, that Italy was the country which in fact blocked it. There are certain concerns arises out of it. One concern the academic integrity. You can use the ChatGPT material and then place it your write-up and your content is considered excellent, and because that has been gathered from several, as Kapil said, from several sources and put it together in fine language, they come out with the write-up, and that write-up can be a part of a article, it can be a write-up, a discussion note, it can be anything, and that become questions the academic integrity, whether this has been written by a person or not, and that's it. It also has a concern over the lack of regulation. Some of the participants had asked the other day, what are the problems of lack of regulations on the subject, and that lack of regulation is an issue which will have. And privacy concerns are also there. Privacy concerns are existing presently also in the data which are being collected through various methods. That you could say that the health data, you can reflect to various kinds of personal data altogether. So this privacy concern is there, and that it is at advanced level. Earlier data was flowing and information was flowing. Now here analysis flows about the. If I ask the credit, what were the earlier for finding out the credit ability of person, or what we call is the credit worthiness of people. There, in a lot of people used to work on the back offices and working on the individuals for how many years has taken the loan, how he is paid, and his credit worthiness. And this credit worthiness can be found in a fraction of minutes. That kind of issue comes up. Italy has banned this first country to block ChatGPT due to privacy-related concern, and that is where the challenge is there. Cognitive bias. This morning, Moody also says cognitive bias can be the way the neural network works. The person who developed there's the data on this neural network, which is free from any kind of death, but that can be biased also. Maybe ethical principles cannot be. You cannot distinguish between right and wrong, because this is a machine. This is a method here. The right and wrong cannot be distinguished. So true and false can also be. So this is a really cognitive bias. Cognitive bias takes place in this process. It also takes place in the process in terms of what kind of software is being prepared and how it's being prepared. That also works on this. So this is a kind of challenge, concern which you will find. There is also concern about the gender diversity concern. Moody spoke about the out of 100,000 of engineers who are working on the neural network, preparing the program. They were male, so they could not consider the aspect of women, and therefore this issue comes of diversity and other aspects. ChatGPT, not all forms of AI, it cannot be unique from the. That is where the discrimination are not unique. So this discrimination are there, and they are not, as he rightly said, that they are not. Another accessibility. This is another issue which is very important. There are two main concerns about the accessibility of of ChatGPT. The first is lack of availability of the tools in some countries due to government regulations, censorship, and other restrictions on the internet. The internet is the source through which it works. Nothing is a medium. Internet is medium through even the data processes, language processes, they are made available to people. So if internet is banned, nothing can be done. So certain regulations, certain censorship can be applied. And if I say that censorship is applied on ChatGPT, churning out some information, processed information about the 10 years political opinion expressed by several other people and put up a note on this, then it might create a problem for this, so that the censorship could be also. The restrictions are internet is closed, and then if internet is closed, nothing reaches to the people. That's the another aspect of commercialization. These are the concerns shown by the UNESCO on this commercialization of that period. And if you really look into the edtech companies today prevailing, they are not at least to that level. That means they are still at the pre-ChatGPT level, and that's why they are also fearing about the ChatGPT. There are many of the companies, edtech companies, which you will see either in USA about 25 edtech companies are working, about 10 or 50 edtech companies which you might be seeing in India, they are working about it. But they are, and there a lot of commercialization taking place. But ChatGPT might as well create a major disruptive processes with this. And a private company, what a company will be placed to maintain the free version of ChatGPT. It has launched the subscription of the thing, so that some of this ChatGPT using ChatGPT may be costly also. And if it is costly, then some people will be able to use, other people may. Now Google is free, so everybody is using Google. But if once it is other thing, so keeping all these things, all these issues, UNESCO made certain recommendations, and that recommendations are being suggested that you should try to work it out. How you will like to work it out? These are the aspects they considered. The first is that set out a policy of recommendations in certain areas. Certain areas they made it. The system-wide vision and strategic priorities. You must try to come out with a policy of what is the system-wide vision as education institutions, how much of it you are going to use, and how to the what extent you are going to use, and beyond that you are not going to use. That's overarching principle. AI is education policies. Is for policies have to really we have drawn policies, but I don't think we have considered now. We have to draw the policy on implications of use of AI in education processes. That has to be a policy paper has to be prepared, and that should be shared with the student. Interdisciplinary planning and intersectoral governance. Also, that question comes up about it. It is not only education, but education-related aspect will also be there. Policies and regulations for equitable. This is a very important aspect of policy in terms of whether it is equitable, it is inclusive, it is ethical. AI, these are the issues which have to be offered as a part of regulation, as a part of policy, and not restricting it too much of it. Master plans for using AI in education management, teaching, learning, and assessment, that has to be really worked out, and then it is shared with the education institutions in a big way, that this is how one can work. Pilot testing, monitoring, and evaluation, and working on evidence base, that has to be also developed. And the last suggestion question is that fostering the local AI innovations for education. We have not yet started. Certain innovations are started on this aspect. We have not yet started innovations on AI innovations in education. These are the few recommendations which are being suggested by UNESCO, and they are working. This is only up to AI 3.5, and if you go to AI fourth generation and fifth generation, which is causing a danger signal to many of the people, and it's a very disruptive system which is causing. Why they are coming? Earlier this fear was not there. Now if I can write a complete note on a particular, let me say I write a particular note on the basis of events, etc., for last 40 or 50 years in about a political person. and then all data are being processed which was not known, and notice trust on this. Or it could be very dangerous because you can fake many things, which is also there. There is a one book which I referred to long back in first session, that there is a book called AI in 2041, which also sounds like AI, and that says that faking is going to be a real challenge, and wrong information is going to be very challenging. And since AI is, as like many of the technology which are neutral, they can be positive, negative, but in other cases it was possible to restrict it, use it, and regulate it. That was possible. Now, if I talk of a nuclear thing, there is a possibility of regulation, there is possibility of using it and other thing, or any other technology which we are in. But this kind of open system which this AI has, this kind of revolution which is again language modeling and even assessing, there is a one chapter in that particular book about the streaming, and that streaming makes you to takes data from your sources and tells you exactly what you are, and they also predict your behavior by studying several others. So this is where the challenges come. Challenges come in terms of which was not there. Restriction was possible. Now only the restriction is on the regulating internet. Then you block everything. You are not able to see selectively. In the case of nuclear energy, you can take the selectively for only using the generating the electricity, generating the power, etc. And then you don't use it. Regulatory machine, national, international level regulatory machines, etc. But in this case, there is a fear has been expressed by many of the technology experts that it might be very damaging this way, and not that most of the processes which are being done through the computer now, most of the processes which are done by you might undergo, most of the business will undergo a major change in this. That is where the fear has been. Fear is not because of that it might give the wrong information. That is fear is also the processes are lying to them. Just many processes will change when the computers came, high-end computers came, etc. But this is large language modeling processes are going, even taking the emotional aspect of which question was posed, and ability to process and give it, make it available, and the neural network works on the how brain works on this. There have been some of the video showing that how it works and how it's going to be influenced. You must, some of the people might be, which is at a very low level. What you say, Instagram and all those things are at a very low level of this. It is very high end level of this thing. And if quantum computing comes on in a way which may take 5 or 10 years now, the processing of trillions and trillions of data or in language, the text, etc. You might have heard that some of the judgments were given, and about lakhs and lakhs of the text was gone through. This was gone through the AI, and the text, the summary was made available to the judges, and judges could. It was a lakhs and lakhs of paper. So that's where the change has come. Earlier, this was not possible. Data would there, data projection was there, modeling could be done. This large language modeling is a major technology revolution, and it has going to impact the education processes much more than many other processes, because it will feed into education would be required to deal with this, and when it deals with it feeds into various other sectors of economy and society. Therefore, this challenge is there. I think I'll stop here and ask you to questions on this subject.
Participants, you can either post your query on the chat box or you can ask Sir directly.
And if Dr. Sharma would like to add, I would invite him to add something.
Sir, I think...
Okay, ask questions. Please feel free to ask questions. Yes, Sanaji. there is basically all these softwares are working on their own. Only what how you want to use it, that is to be very clear to you. You are not going to write a code. This code will explain to you the system how it works, just to at the back of it what happens. Now that these software which are the, if you look into some of the software, they are already available. You just, as he rightly puts it, that write your questions and write your question specifically and precisely, then precise answers would come. That you don't have to worry about the what is the code one. So it is your question should is a simple question written in a text form. That is good enough for getting the answers of the question. That is what is called prompt. Prompt is nothing but you are writing a question. Sabri Sarkar has raised a question. Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
this ChatGPT, I think for some of us it is new. For some, they are already using maybe. But
Yeah.
it's very helpful. That's what I understand. But to leave the student to explore. And as you have mentioned, in few countries, some of the universities have blocked it. So maybe there is some risk. So to leave our student to explore more for future, is it safe for us or is it good for us? I was a bit confused, sir.
Let me share with you, or Dr. Sharma can also better. But this is a kind of a experiment which you are doing. The student can use, they can learn more, and then you don't have to necessarily block it. When you try say not to use it, it was a kind of fear expressed because people would completely prepare a paper and put it, and then now the next question comes up. Uh, Whether it is improving the learning of the students, whether it's improving the understanding of the student, and you have to discern it here. Even if you ask them to block it, you don't use it, they will use it. So you be ready for that kind of a situation where if that ChatGPT is available, only one the kind of assignment they do it, it comes before you. You have to see whether it has been done by the student by understanding and doing it, or it just prepared a ChatGPT based paper and placed before you. But if it helps in terms of developing the question, learning better, then one should. Even if you know policy, this is that's what the UNESCO came out with the idea. There are certain aspects which you should try to promote it. They should encourage it, but you should have a clear policy on this aspect. That is where there, and then role of the teacher would undergo a major change in terms of not only seeing the kind of a ability which they have, it is different kind of abilities which you have to be seeing in them, not responding as earlier that you read it and reproduce it, nothing of that kind, it will be changed. So you don't have to worry about it.
Sir,
You don't have to worry about it. Use it, yeah, selectively or intelligently. Again, I would say it. So long it helps the student to learn better. So long it helps to prepare the assignment better. So long it helps you to get the things in a proper way of a particular subject, getting information all over the world and do it. I think that's a very helpful one. But at the same time, too much of accepting. Now, when the matter comes to you, sometimes it happens, it is very fake. I say that when you ask them to prepare a note, and you would find that many of the mistakes, many of the things are not correct. And that is the role of teachers, that these things are not correct, because you know it many years. So that's it. Dr. Sharma, you were saying something? Question. Yeah, there is one question that Dr. Sharma, there is one question that one question. No, there are two questions. One question was that is there any software which will uh, find out whether the article generated by ChatGPT is right or wrong. So it's another way of looking ballistic missile, anti-ballistic missile, the kind of a thing. What basically it is still at the level of development, and whether what has been done, that is the role now. It is left to the teacher. That's the role where the teacher says, because of the several things, and it is not up to the level or mark which it has been generated. But I don't know whether any software has been developed which will test the whether the write-up done by the ChatGPT is correct or not.
Sir, there is a question from Dr. Anita Malhotra. She is asking, is any regulation on ChatGPT in pipeline?
Right now, there is nothing, but people are discussing on this subject. The regulation would be, as I said, recommendations have been made by UNESCO that these are the areas where the ChatGPT should be could be encouraged to be used, and there are areas where the concerns have been expressed, and there should be some regulation with regard to concern. And there's some committee has been set up about it, isn't it, Dr. Sharma, on this aspect? In fact, they are working on internationally also. They are working on it, and that's why UNESCO came out with the kind of certain recommendations for the countries that you can this start a policy paper. The first is a policy paper, and then come to the regulation and how it is to be used. You cannot just ban it. Even if you ban it, it is going to be used like by many people. Radhika has raised a question. Radhika.
Yes, Radhika,
Yes,
please
sir.
ask.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the informative session. I have two observations to share and then one question. I was
Yeah.
just wondering, in education, it's just not not limited to the knowledge. So I was wondering when Chat GPT and other technologies are given to the students, what about peer learning in the classroom, group cooperation, creative thinking, etc. And I'm also wondering, will this make their mind more conditioned, because they have something jahan par they will directly put and will get an answer? So I have a question related to this. Is there any research done where it has been as in studied the impact of using all these technologies, especially AI and chat gpt etc., whether it is helping the learners to develop their critical thinking and higher mental processes? Or I'm curious to know about this.
Your question is very important. Reason being, this is the beginning, and when the beginning is done, there will be people will be using it, and then some research issues will come. Whether it is helping the students learning better, or it is only making them robots in terms of
Yeah,
collecting and putting
exactly.
material together. So much, to our knowledge, not much research has been done. It's a ChatGPT is only about a year back development, or not more than 2 years back development. Then 3.5 came only last year, and then 4 would be coming. But ability of this technology, which I am saying that large language modeling processing is very getting into very important thing.
Okay.
And that is going to affect the student in a manner positively or negatively. That study has to be done. As far as my understanding goes, I looked into some of the software which has been developed. Some of the edtech companies are okay. In fact, these edtech companies are linked to almost 100 universities in the country. They are at lower level. They are not at ChatGPT level. They are still at the computational level. But next would be a kind of a thing which many things could be done at a fraction of thing in a statements, which will come. How it's going to affect, because ultimately human brain works much differently. It gets the information, it processes information with the ability of their own understanding, and it completely doesn't. But it has a possibility of influencing the minds of the people very strongly. As it is, Instagram and all these are influencing the mind of the people. But this has a much better way of explaining. Instagram and other things, they have a limited. It may not explain the things, but this will be able to explain the things, and it will help the students and teachers to understand it better. This what I call the short messaging has really caused more problem to the mind of the young and old people. But the large language modeling might avoid this problem, which you are seeing today. So I think that it is going to have a little positive, but research has to be done on this
Yes.
aspect when the students use, group of students use, and then the impact on this. Dr. Sharma, you have something to add? Any
Thank
other
you.
question, please?
Thank you, sir. That was my concern, because cognitively, academically, and knowledge-wise, it will have certainly positive. But I am wondering about the values and the skills which learner learn in the classroom, like helping others, peer learning, etc., etc.
Peer learning system have been developed. There are many good software. I talked to you at where the group buddy, study buddy, which is a group of students can work together. As it is, people sit on the floor and discuss another thing. So this will help you giving the latest data or latest information in a more consistent and more language, in a kind of a statement, which was possible in a more analyzed statement. Analytical part would be very strong in this case. So it will be helpful to the student. Only that they should not stop at that level. Mine is that if you learn to uh, drive, you should learn to drive efficiently. When you learn efficiently driving, then you learn how things should change. So that is where these are basics. As you look into old past technology, where earlier computer was not there, people used to there. When the computer came, they are, and the computer have helped in many ways, and computation will help in research in many ways. So I think one should look at it in a positive manner, but negative aspects should not be overlooked.
Thank you, sir.
And you are talking about values. Let me share you. They will be sharing with you the values of various kinds, and the values would be explain how these values have arisen. How this you ask the Chat GPT how certain values have arisen, and Chat GPT will churn out a paper. And then you ask Chat GPT how are the negative aspects of it. It will churn out another aspect of that thing. So that possibility is there, and that might one way that both debate can take place further, and when debate takes place, then you are able to reach to the newer understanding of the subject. Tripti has raised the question, and Tripti.
Yes, thank you, sir, for this very informative session. All my friends were using ChatGPT, but I've never kind of even looked at it. So it was a very enlightening session for me, sir. Just have a quick question, sir, because our students are from different language background, like Hindi and other languages also. So does ChatGPT also supports any question that can be asked in any language and answer that one is getting? This is purely coming from a very ignorant person like me, but has no idea of the app, this app. So please answer, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Sharma, you have something to take on this. Otherwise, I come later on.
Sir, the students do this all the time. Like even when they are copy pasting some assignment, they are copy pasting the links also, and they are forgetting to take it off. So we catch them that they have actually copy and pasted the assignment.
Now, what I would
Yes.
Okay.
what is important in this that use it as a supporting system. Now you can find out what is the latest in a particular subject, let's say economics or physics and other things, and you would like to develop a good curriculum for that purpose, and then you like that you should be up to date on this subject. Then you ask the chat GPT with the correct prompt, etc. It will churn out a curriculum of, let's say, any aspect in physics you can take on quantum computing. Let's put it that way. Up to that level, quantum computing, what is going on? The work on computing is going on last 50 years. So they will say it is this level. There is a very interesting book long back I read, Science in 2050. It is developed, and the scientists they thought about it. They profess what is going to happen. In this case, it will collect the information, data, and etc., and then project it there. So that is going to be very useful thing. So use it as a kind of a tool for this, and let it be a very helpful tool in terms of then you take a decision whether our students will be able to understand this level of a thing or not, and at undergraduate level what we should be doing, and at the postgraduate level. That is the decision you will be taken. You can ask them also at the basic level or at the advanced level or at the higher super specific level. Certain things will be churned out in there, but it is to reduce your drudgery of doing same thing again and again, and it is at the same time giving you the highest level of information available internationally, where the data are already available. Yes, yes, please go ahead. The students are going out. I'm able to see the numbers.
Participants.
One thing I would like to request all of you to raise issues. Then all the many clarification today, two or three good issues were raised, questions were raised. Then clarification comes. Is error. You can give a prompt about Lakshmi Bai, and you would find Lakshmi Bai College in Delhi. Yes, please go ahead if you have some questions. Yeah. Mahanta, only interesting. No, I would like you to ask questions.
Thank you, sir. Actually, I have learned many things in today's session. Actually, I don't have any at present any queries regarding this. Just it is very interesting. What we can do, we can create our own images. No need to give credit for other. We no need to search for related images in the web. That is very interesting. I found. Thank you, sir.
What more is this?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? Radhika. Okay. Several other things. Achha, Radhika is presenting. Let her. Sentence. Right. Lakshmanbhai College. It will tell you when it was established. Another thing is right. Lakshmanbhai College. Lakshmanbhai College, Delhi. You put it and then see what it generates. Now you put the generate the not image, generate the text image. What do you have to change? Dr. Sharma, you change the.
Sir, I have done something. Should I share my screen just for fun? Okay, I'll just share my screen. Right. अच्छा राधिका को कर लेते हैं हाँ ठीक है
You put it. Oh, your hand is still not reaching the generated image. You are not able to click it on this, Radhika? You are not able to click on this, click on generate image.
Sir, I'm able to click, but it is still in the processing. So it reached
it's still in the
100%.
processing.
Yeah, it is not coming up.
As it
Let
comes
me just stop my screen.
okay
Ruchita.
yes sir I'm just doing it this sir can you see this
Vijay Bakshi
Is my
is
screen
presenting.
visible? Sir, I did portrait of Mona Lisa in the style of Jamini Roy, So,
Thus you got it. You got it, isn't it? Yeah.
yes, I thought that would be interesting to see these two, I mean, stalwarts kind of in a meeting somewhere. So, but with the speed, it did it, for me, I think it was quite terrifying. Yes. Hmm.
Amita has Amita Anita has Malhotra has raised the question. Yes.
But even I have tried something.
Yeah. Tell.
May I
Tell.
share?
Please.
Astronauts. Very good. Yeah. This is where you can the time and when they were landed on the moon. It's in a fraction of second, and you can ask not only image, generate the text. They'll generate the text for you.
Yes, sir, I can. Okay.
Alka has raised the question.
Okay.
So can I say something here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This
Please
is
go.
Alka and
Please
either
go.
this side. And I must tell you that I'm going to retire in another 2 years or so. And the world that you have opened for me is tremendous. I just can't believe that there's so much that there is to learn. I feel that time is so short for me that I cannot even use so much of information for my students in my class.
You
Yes,
another
there is
task
so
to do.
much.
Another task to do.
Really. And somebody asked me that why I'm doing this FDP since I'm going to retire soon, but I think it is really good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing all that knowledge with us, sir, both of you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Hmm. Yes, sir, I did. .co and that's it. Okay. 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 Anji. Huh. Anything. Okay. Mohan eating chocolate. Okay. Okay, Will Smith eating spaghetti. Okay. Right. App Store. Yeah. It's still loading. Yeah, I'll just do that.
Yes, sir, new one, sir. Sir, I just have a query. Sir, like we are doing all these things and generating this, matlab, there could be certain, some sections or certain people who may object to it if it being in public domain. Like there could be political connotations to it, and
Hmm.
Absolutely, sir.
I'll just stop it. Yeah, I'll let the participants do it. Yeah. Radhika, please go ahead. Okay.
Le- mm. Dr. Dr. Sharma, let us give them an assignment of preparing a paper, a short paper on a particular topic which they like it through ChatGPT, and that is to be presented to. I would particularly refer images and etc. are very important, but you get into the text part of it by writing. And each student should be, Prajita, is it possible to give them assignment to write of any subject they like, give a prompt and get a one-page note or text note on the learning.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sure, sir.
Okay. 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 That is a LMS. It's already put it in the LMS.
Participants, please take note of this. Sir has posted an assignment and please pay heed to it. Thank you. Discussion forum.
Sir,
Yes,
if we've
Anita.
already, sir, if we've already submitted as an assignment, do we need to repost it in the discussion? Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, others will not be able to view it. Yes.
किसका नाम कह रहे हैं डॉक्टर साहब? But LMS, whatever name, if certain issues were there that has been sorted out, I was told. The organizer and
Yes, sir.
this, did you discuss about Duolingo or some other language? 6 platform, very good.
I'm using Duolingo for the past 1 year.
Oh, very good.
I started Spanish for 1 year. So I have reached a level 5, reading stories and understanding that. Then I started learning Hindi all over again. Hindi. Because I don't remember all the katakas. Duolingo, only Duolingo, not the me. Okay, sir. But I really recommend it to others because it's so simple and very interactive.
Or any other question, or we call it a day? Pracheta?
Yes, sir. Thank you, and Alka ma'am, for sharing your inputs on Duolingo. And I think you are also an inspiration for all of us. Now I will formally thank once again Professor G.D. Sharma and Dr. R.C. Sharma sir. Thank you on behalf of Lakshmibai College, SIDS ICF and GAD TLC for presenting us with all the new features regarding AI. And to be very honest, I can speak for myself. I had zero knowledge about it, but I can say that now I have started growing, interest, for this new thing. And the idea is to use it as responsibly as we can and for the betterment of humankind and research. Of course, as educators, we need to concentrate on research and teaching as well, and it will definitely help us in teaching. So once again, I thank Dr. G.D. Sharma and Dr. R.C. Sharma, and it was a wonderful, wonderful interactive session, and we look forward more of its kind. And last but not the least, I thank the participants for staying with us despite the hectic schedule of their going to the college and coming back. I thank all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Bye.
Good
Okay,
evening, everybody. Bye. Bye. See you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.